Yes, Mukululi Bebe, all the way from Zimbabwe, exciting our morning, Friday morning right here on Citizen TV. Power Breakfast, remember, hashtag Power Breakfast, that's the hashtag to use. Citizen TV, at Citizen TV Kenya is our Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is at Fred Indimuli. We now want to wrap up our news review this morning. We're privileged to have Nuru Kangata, MP Kiharu, Francis Mwangangi, MP Yata, Cynthia Mutere, Chair of the Women's League in Fort Kenya, and Deputy Governor from Embu, Dorothy Nditi. As we wrap up, and I'm going to give you each an opportunity to give your final words, but a very interesting headline on page 8 of the Standard: Raila will deploy 5 agents per station to shield votes. NASA requires 500 million shillings to implement its Adopt a Polling Station strategy. Of course, the Inspector General of Police and the IEBC have already declared that having 5 agents inside every polling station from one particular party is going to be a problem. It's not even allowed in law. Only 1 agent per party. I do understand, or 2 agents per party. So this is already a controversial thing, but yes, this is what we are discussing. You could decide to comment on that, probably do, but as you give your final comments, and let's start with Bonaya Kangata. Final comments?
Yes, well, personally I have no problem with that, such a proposal. I know because of what we call expediencies and the structure of a polling center, it may not be tenable to have 5, but I think it is important that all political parties are represented at each and every.
Probably Jubilee should adopt something similar as well.
Yes, I think so. There's no problem with that. I think, by the way, we ought to do that because I strongly believe, I'm told, by the way, I don't know how true it is, that in strongholds of ODM, at about 4, a few minutes to the closure of our polling centers, after everyone has voted, then they have a remainder of some ballot papers for the presidential vote. They usually do something they call top up. I don't know.
Is this you just made a very serious allegation there, Bernard?
No, I've been told. I have no evidence whether it is true or not. There's something they call top up. After everyone has voted,
it's a very serious
you have some ballots.
Is it something that substantiates?
I have no evidence. I'm saying
you have no evidence.
Yes, I'm just saying an allegation, and I hope it is not true. But so therefore, it makes sense for each and every political party to be represented in each and every polling center. My final remark: can I say something concerning my country? Oh, thank you. This Sunday, we shall be having a free medical camp at a place called Kihoya in Kangima. We must use our own effort to help the people now that the nurses are still on strike. I urge all parties to discuss that issue and also resolve it so that we don't have to keep on reverting to our own personal resources to support our people, but be that as it may, you can't wait and see people dying. So therefore we shall be holding a free medical camp at Kihoya in Kangima. I urge those people who are near that region to join us and support the people of Murang'a County.
Yes, indeed, and it should be mentioned that Boneron Kangata is a Jubilee Party candidate for Senate seat Murang'a County. Cynthia.
Let me begin by even just rebuffing some of the things that the Honourable Member has said. And I think Jubilee is displaying political impotency that we cannot do for another 5 years. What we need to do, even as the NASA coalition and formation, is to actually just delegate them to political oblivion, because we can't have statements that are unsubstantiated coming up even to national TV and saying that, and just throwing it out there for people to think that this is what we do, even in the NASA. They are the ones who have been known to outright. It has
another allegation.
Another allegation that came up in the Supreme Court with the evidence of title.
Allow me to disassociate Citizen TV and the Royal Media Services from some of the allegations
in the Supreme Court that showed that there was outright stealing, that dead voters were voting, that people who are under the age have been voting, and all those are allegations. But what is important to say that NASA is not.
Let's not get into that.
I gave you a turn to speak without even interruption or anything. I have declared it impotency. There is no thought in that area, and therefore that's why we are struggling in this economy when we have had 4 years of this and 4.5 years, and we can't continue having them even for another second. So on August 8th, we will have an election. NASA won in 2013. NASA won in 2007. NASA has won I would say they have not voted, but we know we have the numbers. The numbers have been crunched out. We are 10 million strong. What the NASA presidential candidate is doing right now is stopping every gap where they would play any mischief. And that's why we are coming out with the Adopt the Polling Center. He came out very clearly to say these are not people who necessarily will populate the stream in the classroom, but can sit out in because they're guarding the community. They know the people who are voting in that polling center. They're mobilizers. And these are strategies, as you have heard, since we have the tyranny of brains and ideas, of course, that they're going to be using. And so that is something that Jubilee can use as well. But of course, we already have the win, and we are going to stop any mischief as we lead into the election to make sure that we do win it hands down, and that they will be able to give it to us. We have heard, of course, the president saying they are going to agree to be defeated, and of course they already know that the numbers are not working for them. And so we just want to continue to encourage them to just leave with grace.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if having 5 agents is going to save us from the usual story that our votes were stolen, then so be it. Let them have their 5 agents. But I hope they will also allow the other side of the divide to also have the same number of voters on the other side.
The agents, yes.
The agents, yes. So that everybody can safeguard their votes. And then, as I conclude, all I can say is that we need to have a peaceful election. It's never that serious. August is going to come, but no one should lose life on account of an election. Nobody should lose property on account of an election. Nobody should lose their home on account of an election. After 8, Kenya remains. And none of us is bigger than this country. We need to be peaceful. Let us hold peaceful elections, and that is what is going to determine whether we are really leaders in this country or not.
Finally, Bwana Mwangangi.
Thank you. I'm seated here courtesy of votes by other people. And I think far north of this continent in Ghana, the president who is there courtesy of what NASA is proposing. Any leader who is serious should guard his or her vote, and the best way to guard it, in my view, because as a country we have had this business of stolen election. It has to end, and the way to end it is for me to be satisfied what we have done is what was supposed to be done. So in this case, adopting or rather sending agents to polling centers, if it will end this business under the song of stolen election, so be it. I'm saying 5 is too little. You need 10 or 20 somewhere there to ensure there is that transparency, and nobody interferes with that right of Kenyans to vote the person they want. Number 2, I think some national institutions, IEBC, the Inspector General of Police, he should not be seen like he is taking sides in this thing. I've had some agencies which are supposed to be independent, speaking the same language with some political entities. That is not fair. They need to remain independent, because the sooner we realize you are favoring one entity, then we will not trust you. That public trust will not be there, and it is important for this country, because as Madam Deputy Governor said, we have a country after 8th of August, and we need to take good care of that. IEBC, please ensure free, fair, credible elections come that time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bwana Francis Mwangangi, Member of Parliament for Yatta, Dorothy Nditi, Deputy Governor Embu, Cynthia Mutere, Chair of the Fort Kenya Women's League, and Irongo Kangata, Member of Parliament for Kiharo constituency, helping us look at the headlines this morning. Yes, it is Friday, so that very important discussion, deal with it, with Joe Muvengi will be coming up in a short while, as well as we'll get to know more about our artist for the day, Mukululi Bebe. We'll be having an interview with him in a short Shotwell as well. Remember, the hashtag to use is Still Power Breakfast. For me, my name is Fred Ndimuli. Good morning.